Guys. So today, energetically, in a lot of ways, we are really still reverberating from the new moon that happened yesterday. This was all about some really truly deep and profound purging and purification and regeneration that is going to be going on very deep internal levels over the course of this Virgo cycle. And we had a lot of changes and a lot of big energy over the weekend and last week too. And this week, at least the beginning of the week, we are really still, like I said, reverberating from these activations, from the energetic of the new moon in Virgo that we had on Monday. And we're just in this period of really going through some deep and profound healing. And there's a lot of mental and emotional energy tied into it in the early part of the week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. My name is Aubrey. Today is Tuesday, September 7th, 2021, and this is my astrological outlook actually for today, Tuesday, and tomorrow, Wednesday, the 8th of September. I've actually been out of town all weekend. I went to visit my best friend who recently graduated from chiropractic school. Congratulations, Dr. Becca. She hates when I call her that, but she's now officially a doctor, and I think that is extremely admirable, and I'm very proud of her. So congratulations, girl. And so my schedule is a little bit off this week. I'm sorry about the erraticness of when I'm putting these videos out, but by Thursday, I should be back on track, and things should keep rolling as usual. So today I am doing a combined report for Tuesday and Wednesday, but that's okay because we really actually have kind of a bit of the same energy that's going on both days. And again, this really is sort of having to do with this journey of healing and self-discovery that we are on, this Virgo new moon cycle. And our mind, like I said, our mind and our emotions are very tied into this. On Tuesday, we have an active moon and Mercury going on in the early part of this week. So let's start with Tuesday. There really aren't too many major aspects going on Tuesday, except for that we have the moon will be freshly out of the new moon conjunction to the sun, will be coming into a conjunction with Mars, and therefore also forming a trine to Pluto. Mars is still in a trine to Pluto, although he is 1 degree off today. He has shifted out of that exact trine. So generally, with the moon conjuncting Mars and in trine to Pluto, this again is really signifying this journey emotionally into the depths, purification, purging, regeneration. Mars and Pluto, these are the Scorpio themes. So this is really a very scorpionic day. And with the moon there, it could be bringing up also anger issues. We could be feeling just a bit of rage or frustration about something, also depression. But honestly, it's an emotional purge that's going on with this transit, and it's something that's just happening naturally. It's happening organically. It's not something that we really are pushing or trying to make happen. It's just on an emotional level today, we're just being aligned with the frequencies that are necessary to really help us transform and heal on those very deep levels. Remember, we are still in a North Node Black Moon conjunction that is going to be lasting through tomorrow. And the energetics, specifically the Sabian symbols, are talking about this as well. And just let me state before I get started, and I had a recommendation from one of my very lovely viewers that instead of saying what the Sabian symbols are every time, I should just put it in the description box. So I think that's what I'm going to do, but I haven't done it yet. So let me just say, for maybe one of the last times, that the Sabian symbols are a group of energetics that represent each and every one of the 360 degrees of the zodiac. And whenever a planet is at a specific point, discharging a specific degree, we can look to the symbol and it describes the underlying nature of the energetics better, like what the purpose of this actual activation is in terms of this grand unfolding cosmic saga that is carrying us through space and time. So that's basically what the Sabian symbols are, and they're an integral part of my astrology work because they just help us understand on a symbolic level the underlying purpose of why these aspects are happening at any given point in time. So very significant, and I always look at them. But we do have the Sabians speaking today about this process of the Black Moon and the North Node conjunction that we've had going on. This has been a big deal. I made a video about this last week. I think it was on Thursday I think it was for Friday. So definitely reference that video because it will give you a much greater understanding of what this aspect actually has been doing for us. But really, this has sort of been a period of time. It's a 5-day aspect where we've been really being called to really look into our shadow, look into the darkness, really go under the surface of things and go drill down into the core and the root of our essence, of our soul, of our being, and figure out what we're really holding inside of us and how we can use that to really motivate and fuel us into making a different path, creating a new start, and moving in that direction in a way that will bring us much more fulfillment and much more joy and much more satisfaction overall generally. It's sort of an aspect collectively that's been going on for all of us where we're really just being asked to tap into the deepest parts of our being and our soul and find the power that's held there and really use that to fuel our pursuits going forward. And it can bring up a lot of insecurity and a lot of fears because it's stuff that we don't look at, that we don't acknowledge, and that we don't realize has such an influence over our relationships and our circumstances and our experiences. And it can be overwhelming and it can be scary. But this aspect has really been forcing us all to sort of come face to face with our shadow and figure out what we're going to do about that and how we can actually use that to our benefit instead of it using us to our detriment a lot of times in a lot of circumstances. So this has been an ongoing aspect, and it's relevant today obviously because it's still ongoing, but the other aspect that's going on that's in effect today, which is an exact opposition today actually between Mercury, the ruler of the Virgo cycle. Remember, Mercury rules Virgo. So Mercury is a very significant planet right now in the context of this entire Virgo cycle that we're in. And Mercury is forming an exact opposition to Chiron today, which also has associations with Virgo in terms of the healing energy, the healer that it represents. So in the Sabian symbol where this is occurring at 12 degrees of Libra today, that Sabian symbol is miners are emerging from a deep coal mine. So this to me is really, and especially with the opposition to Chiron during the new moon in Virgo cycle when we had the black moon in a conjunction to the north node, this really is like sort of more of a continuation of this energy. And it's like we've figured out, or we're in the process of figuring out what we need to heal, and we are like coming out and emerging from the darkness as we move through this week after everything that transpired over the weekend and the big aspects last week and the big, very powerful, very Pluto oriented new moon that we just had. Again, this is sort of like a continuation of these energetics, and I find it funny because the Black Moon North Node conjunction actually ends tomorrow. That 5-day window will be over, and today, the day before that is happening, we have Mercury, ruler of this cycle, who also rules the placement of the Black Moon and the North Node right now in Gemini, talking about miners emerging from a deep coal mine. And if you remember, if you watched my videos from last week, the degree where Mercury, or where the North Node and the Black Moon were conjoining at 6 degrees of Gemini was workmen drilling for oil. So really both of these have very similar themes. Workmen drilling for oil, it's all about really getting to the root of our true power source and figuring out how to tap into that to fuel our experience going forward with the North Node destiny involved. And then today we have the ruler of those two planets and this entire Virgo cycle talking about miners emerging from a deep coal mine. So as this energy is waning out, we are emerging from this very deep experience. And it's like now with the opposition to Chiron, it's like we have the understanding. Mercury rules thoughts and our minds and communications and our thought process and ideas and understanding of what we need to do to truly heal those very deep wounds that we may have discovered when we were deep down in that mine, when we were drilling for oil with this aspect, with this energetic so much in effect. So it's like, we've seen and we've experienced and we've mined and like the darkness and the depths, and we're coming out of those depths and that darkness that are deep inside the metaphorical earth, which would be our bodies and our souls and our spirits and our whole human experience. So I find that to be very interesting. And those are really the only two main aspects we have going on for Tuesday. The conjunction from the moon to Mars in that trine to Pluto. Again, Pluto is all about going deep. And Pluto right now is at the degree a store filled with precious oriental rugs. And so when Pluto is being activated at this degree, again, this has a lot to do with finding out what valuable precious things are held inside. And so, you know, not only is Pluto always about going to the root of things, going under the surface of things, but at this specific degree is actually talking about the precious value that's held inside, and we are mining that, and we are now emerging from what we discovered by going deep into that darkness. And you know, it's talking about it with Mercury being opposed to Chiron today. It's like we finally are actually reflecting on, you know, the opposition, what we've learned, Mercury, our understandings, Mercury, that we need to truly heal these wounds, these traumas, this pain that a lot of times dictates our experience, because you know, we hold it inside of us, and then we're always subconsciously protecting ourselves, or even more so attracting the same experience, because that's actually what we're vibrating with on a subconscious level. So it's like we've gone through the darkness, we've gone through the depths, we've, you know, really driven down into things, and now we are finally beginning to understand cognitively, mentally, what needs to happen in order to heal. And again, with the moon aligning with Mars today in Virgo, again, the sign of the healer, this we may be feeling passionate or inspired or motivated to make these changes, and also possibly like depressed or angry or frustrated if we feel like there is still something blocking us or overpowering us with the trine to Pluto from being able to do this in the way that we feel like we need to at this point in time. So that's really sort of what we have going on for Tuesday. Now let's move on and talk about Wednesday. And Wednesday, like just to start things off, we have the sun at 7 degrees of Virgo. This degree is a volcanic eruption. And we have the earth, which is always in direct opposition to the sun, at 7 degrees of Pisces. And this is an Easter promenade. So yeah, it's like following the miners emerging from the depths yesterday. Now we're talking about a volcanic eruption on one hand, but also an Easter promenade. So this is definitely rebirth energy. And this is almost like an eruption into a rebirth, which is happening and which is occurring on Wednesday. And Wednesday is simultaneously, that's September 8th. That is the day when the North Node moves out of exact conjunction with the black moon. So it's just so ironic. It's like, on Tuesday, we're talking about we are coming back out. We are surfacing from the depths. We're coming back into the light after this journey that we've taken into the underworld over the weekend, and with the new moon, and with all of this Pluto, and with all of this black moon. Last week was actually a very black moon dominant week altogether. We started the week in black moon energy. We ended the week in very black moon energy. And now Wednesday, September 8th, this is the day that like I said, the North Node moves out of exact conjunction with the black moon, and the earth is talking about an Easter promenade. It's definitely talking about this rebirth, this transcendence, this reemergence back into the light, but on a higher and more evolved and ethereal level almost. And then we have Mercury on Wednesday at 13 degrees of Libra, and this Sabian symbol is children blowing soap bubbles. And the main aspects, we have a few that are going on Wednesday, but one of the main aspects that we have going on is that the moon will be coming into a conjunction with Mercury. So this is an alignment between our emotions, our feelings, our internal atmosphere, and our mind, our cognition, our thought processes, our conscious, cerebral component of things coming into an alignment. And with the degree being emphasized, the children blowing soap bubbles, it's like an emotional connection to the inner child today, and almost like an explosive rebirth, like I said, and an eruption of some kind of this like renewed transcendent energy forcing us into this rebirth and transcendence, an eruption forcing us into a rebirth and transcendence. But there's this quality that really is talking a lot to do with the inner child, children blowing soap bubbles. And it's interesting because Mercury made the opposition to Chiron yesterday, and Chiron also rules early childhood and talks a lot about childhood wounding. So there may be a lot of like revelations that we came to while we were going through this journey through the underworld, while we were really going down into the depths, that surfaced some things that may have happened in childhood, and a need to reconnect to the inner child, to re-embrace the inner child, and to sort of have that be a foundation of the healing that's taking place right now with the opposition to Chiron. And yeah, and then with the moon in conjunction to Mercury today, who is again the ruler of this Virgo cycle and also the ruler of the black moon north node current position in Gemini. So it's like today on Wednesday, our mind and emotions are actually starting to come on the same page, We're actually aligned emotionally and mentally with these understandings that we're coming to. We are understanding what needs to be healed emotionally, the moon, internally, with the moon, and it has to do with embracing the inner child, children blowing soap bubbles at this degree. So we are mentally understanding what we need to heal, what our root issues are. We are aligning with it emotionally, and it really has a lot to do with embracing the inner child and really trying to get back and reconnect to that. And remember, it's interesting because our entire goal and focus this year is really coming back into an alignment with our personal, unique, creative self-expression and our true authenticity and the original nature of who we are and what we were born to do. And no matter how far off course we've gotten from there, this is the year where we are coming back into that, where we are coming back to that place. And universe is putting us in situations and removing us from situations that have been preventing or hindering us from being able to come into that alignment. So that's really what the energetics are talking about today. And it's also interesting because we have Venus coming to 28 degrees of Libra today, and that Sabian symbol is a man alone in deep gloom, unnoticed, angels coming to his rescue, coming to his aid. So we're protected and very supported in this process, even if we don't necessarily feel it or see it, or even if we can't perceive it at this point in time. There are spiritual forces that are really aiding us through this process in whatever we're going through. And even if we are experiencing the heaviness of this transit, which is a very, very heavy transit, I try to always talk about the ultimate goal of the transits and where they are taking us, because it is ultimately always very positive, but the actual experience of getting there can be very difficult and very painful and very heavy. And we may have been enduring a lot of this, but we need to remember that even if we don't necessarily perceive it, we are being divinely guided, protected, and assisted at this time. So that's just something to keep in mind, that the Sabians we're talking about today, as well as we are going through this very transformative journey to healing and self-discovery. Another thing we have going on today is, like I said, the nodes, the north and the south node, our future course, the future path, our destiny, and also what we need to release and let go and leave behind so that we can move on and evolve into that future path and that future course. They are changing degrees today. They are moving out of exact conjunction and opposition to the black moon, which means that they are moving to 5 degrees of Gemini and Sagittarius. And this has been a very active degree lately. We had the black moon there for a while, and I've been talking about this degree, and now we have the north node moving to this degree, and I have kind of mixed feelings about 5 degrees of Gemini. The Sabian symbol for that degree is a radical magazine or publication asking for action, displays a sensational front page. And then 5 degrees of Sagittarius, where the south node is right now, is an old owl perched high up in a tree. So with these specific degrees being activated for the next few days while they're here, it's I feel like it's going to be a period of time, stepping stone in our process, where we are basically sort of detaching in a major way from our past perspectives and past understandings about things that may have caused us to be able to be manipulated and deceived through external influences into taking actions that may not be in alignment with our highest and our best path, or, just may not be the best choices and decisions for us generally. 5 degrees of Gemini to me is a degree that a lot of times can speak about the power of external influences to manipulate or deceive us into taking some kind of action to ultimately benefit their cause, even though we may perceive it as something that, we're doing to benefit us. It has a tendency, I feel like, to bring up an ability to manipulate people through messaging into taking action for one reason or another. And with the North Node being there, especially right after this conjunction to the Black Moon, and then the degree of the South Node, the old owl perched high in a tree, that has to do with our perspectives and our views on things. And with it being the South Node, that's always what we need to release and move on from. So it's like, right now, and I think it has a lot to do with this shadow work that we've all been doing collectively. It's like we are ready to finally begin to let go of the views and the perspectives and the attitudes and the beliefs that we've held for a long period of time, maybe our entire lives, but that also have kept us in a position of being able to be more manipulated through those external sources, through those external influences that may be able to persuade us into acting one way or another through their messaging, through their projections, that may not have necessarily been in alignment with the choices, the decisions, the actions that would have contributed to our most authentic growth and truth and alignment and all of that. So I feel like this, with the North and South Node at these degrees now, it's really talking about the growth that we've experienced and coming to a point now where we can actually begin to perceive and understand both internally and mentally the things that we need to move on from and let go, so that we are not in this position of being able to be continually manipulated through those beliefs, through those understandings, in a way that we have been up until this point in time. So it'll be interesting to see how this particular energetic dynamic plays out, but that's really kind of how I'm reading this right now. Like I said, especially considering in the context of all the deep shadow work that we've just been doing. I think maybe I do feel that with the North Node at this degree, there are going to be major pushes to really utilize this energetic and do just that, through the media, through projections coming down from screens and publications and stuff like that. Really try to project images that cause us to take some type of action based on, it literally says a radical magazine or publication asking for action displays a sensational front page, displaying some very radical information, causing for the purpose of trying to get a reaction. But with the South Node, the old owl in the tree, what we're letting go at this point in time, I just am not sure that we are malleable like that anymore. I feel like the mind is becoming less and less pliable at this point in time to propaganda and manipulation and deception, even though, it is still a very powerful tool right now. But just because of what we've been going through, I feel like the facade is beginning to crack, and a lot of people are just beginning to see through it and realize that they need to change their perspective, and then they're not being deceived the same way anymore. So I think that that's interesting as well. And the last thing I want to say today about Wednesday, and this is really kind of all week, because I want to talk about the outer planets and what they're talking about for a minute. We have Jupiter at 25 degrees of Aquarius right now. That is a butterfly with the right wing more perfectly formed. We have Saturn at 8 degrees of Aquarius. That is beautifully gowned wax figures on display. And we have Neptune, who recently changed degrees, at a prophet bringing down the new law from Sinai. So on a collective level, this week with the planets at these degrees, and again in the context of everything we experienced last week with the Mars opposing Neptune, the Black Moon North Node conjunction, and the new moon in Virgo, and all of the Pluto and Black Moon activity that was present for that as well, and also in a trine to Uranus, you guys. The new moon was in a trine to Uranus. It's going to be a very shocking and surprising and very life-changing cycle. But the outer planets, it's like we're metamorphosizing our beliefs. Jupiter rules our beliefs, and that's at 25 degrees of Aquarius, talking about the butterfly. And we're doing this to mold and form something more beautiful. Saturn at beautifully gowned wax figures on display. And this is in alignment with the new laws of the new world, the new paradigm that are coming down more and more now. And that, well, actually, maybe they're rising up more and more. And they're sort of consuming the original narratives about things, and they're kind of just starting to make us think about reality in a slightly different way. And Neptune is at 22 degrees of Pisces, a prophet bringing down the new laws from Sinai. So even the outer planets are talking about this metamorphosis that we're on right now, and that it's actually a process of forming and molding this new beauty that we can put on display. And it has a lot to do with the new frequencies and the new ways that people are perceiving and interacting with reality, the new laws coming down from the mountain. So I find that to be interesting as well, and that should leave us with a little bit of optimism. So that's really what I have for you guys today. Again, like I said, it really is sort of a continuation of these reverberations from the new moon in Virgo yesterday. This is going to be a very life-changing cycle, and it's, a journey of healing and self-discovery with all of this Pluto that's going on. Tuesday, miners are emerging from a deep coal mine, and Wednesday we have the North Node moving out of conjunction with the Black Moon. And the Earth talking about an Easter promenade, like a celebration of rebirth and a new life and a new perspective and transcendence. So this is really what we're moving through, coming into contact, getting a better idea emotionally and mentally of what we really need to do to heal, to master our experiences, and to move forward in a much more solid and fulfilling and down a path that is so much more in alignment with what we were really meant to do, who we were really meant to be, the experiences that we were truly meant to have, and how we were really meant to cultivate ourselves and to serve humanity with the resources that we tap into within us, and what we can create and produce, not only for ourselves, but also for humanity with it. We're moving into the age of Aquarius. So that's what I have for you guys today. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It helps me, it boosts me in the algorithm, and it helps me just to get more viewers and stuff. It helps my channel grow when you guys do that, and I really, really appreciate it. Also, please leave me comments. I absolutely love your guys' comments. Any questions that you have about astrology, drop them in my comment section. I'm going to be making a video very soon answering you guys' astrology questions. And I have a Facebook page and a Facebook group if you're interested. But you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and definitely come back with me tomorrow so that we can continue on this process and see how the rest of the week's energetics are unfolding in this story of the cosmic blueprint that we are all immersed in right now. So have a wonderful day, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.